So my dear students, in this class we will discuss the Coulomb's law for multiple charges. Coulomb's law for multiple charges. Coulomb's law for multiple charges. In last class we have discussed the Coulomb's law for two charges, and in this class we will discuss the Coulomb's law for multiple charges. Okay, so this is our x-axis and this is our y-axis and this is our origin. Okay, this is a point charge q1. Okay, this is a point charge q1 and the position vector of this point charge is suppose r1. What is the position vector of the point charge q1? That is r1. Position vector means the distance from origin to the point. Okay, the position vector is the distance from origin to the point, and we have already discussed in first year about the position vector. So q1 is a point charge and the position vector of that point charge is r1. Okay, so q2 is another point charge. Here q2 is another point charge and the position vector of this point charge is r2. Okay, the position vector of this point charge is how much? r2. q3 is another point charge and the position vector of that point charge is r3. Okay, so we have considered 3 point charges q1, q2 and q3, and the 3 point charges are positively charged. Suppose q1, q2 and q3 all are positive. These are the 3 positive point charges. Okay, and the position vector of q1 with respect to this frame of reference is r1, and the position vector of q3 is what? r2, and position vector of q3 is what? r3. For different point the position vector will be different. Position vector is what? The distance from origin to that point. Okay, here q1, q2, q3 all are positive. Okay, now here the charge plus q, the plus q will repel plus q1 with a force F12. Okay, plus q will repel plus q1 in this direction with a force F12. What is this F12? F12 is what? Force on charge q1 due to q2. Okay, so we will take only the forces acting upon charge q1. We will take the forces acting upon q1. This q2 will repel q1 with a force F12 in this direction, and that force will be how much? This F12 will be equal to your 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 divided by r. This distance is suppose r12. This distance is from q2 to q1. The distance is r12. R12 square r12 cap. What is this r12 cap? R12 cap is a unit vector in the direction q2 to q1. Okay, so we have considered 3 point charges q1, q2 and q3. Okay, and let us take the forces acting on this charge q1. This is the plus charge q2 will exert a force F12 on charge q1, and that force F12 is what? Force on charge q1 due to q2, which is equal to your 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 divided by r12 square r12 cap. What is this r12 cap? It is a unit vector in the direction from q2 to q1. Similarly, the charge q3 is also positive. this charge will also repel Q1 in this direction. The charge Q3 will also repel Q1 in this direction with a force F13. What is this F13? F13 means force on charge Q1 due to Q3. Force on charge Q1 due to Q3. Okay, and the distance from Q3 to Q1 is R13. Okay, so it will be F13 will be equal to your 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q3. That means force of repulsion between Q3 and Q1 will be your Q1 Q3 R13 square R13 cap. Okay, these are the two forces acting on charge Q1. That means the Q1 will repel by Q2 in this direction with a force of F12, and at the same time the Q1 is also repelled by Q3 in this direction. Okay, then upon charge Q1, these are the two forces F12 and F13, and they are acting along these two directions. What will be the resultant force acting on charge Q1? For resultant force, okay, we need to apply the parallelogram law of vector addition. Here F12 and F13 both are vector quantities and they are acting at a single point. Okay, and you can see the tail of the two vectors are acting at a single point. That is why the resultant vector can be determined with the help of parallelogram law. Of vector addition. Okay, according to parallelogram law of vector addition, the diagonal will be the resultant of the two adjacent vectors. So F1 is the resultant. What is F1? F1 is the resultant of the two vectors. So the resultant force, okay, upon charge Q1, there are two forces acting simultaneously along two directions. What will be the resultant force? Resultant force acting on charge Q1 is, the resultant force acting on charge Q1 is, F1 is the resultant force acting on charge Q1, which will be equal to the vector sum of F12 plus F13. That means this is the resultant force acting on the charge particle Q1. Okay, so what is F12? F12 is what? In place of F12, what we can write? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 divided by R12 square R12 cap. Okay, and what is F13? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q3 R13 square R13 cap. Okay, or we can write it like this: F1 is equal to, we can take Q1 divided by 4 pi as common. Q1 divided by 4 pi epsilon naught we can take common, then it will be Q2 divided by R12 square R12 cap, Q3 divided by R13 square R13 cap. So this is the resultant force acting on charges Q1. Okay, if we take n number of charges, if we take 4 n number of charges, if there are n number of charges, okay, what will be the force on charge Q1? The force on charge Q1 will be your F12. F12 means what? Force on charge Q1 due to Q2. Then F13. What is F13? Force on charge Q1 due to Q3. Then F14. What is F14? Force on charge Q1 due to Q4. And there are n number of charges. That is why it will be goes on like this. and finally you write F1n. What is F1n? The force on surface Q1 due to n number of surfaces. Okay, in this way. So what will be F12? F12 means 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R12 square R12 cap. And what is F13? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q3 R13 square R13 cap, and goes on. And finally, what is F1n? F1n will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Qn R1n square R1n cap. Okay, and we can write like this also. F1, the net force acting on surge Q1 due to the presence of n number of surges. So here you can take common Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. You can take common Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught will be the common, and then we can write in summation also. Summation I is equal to 2 to n. 2 to n. That means I can write Qi divided by R1I R1I square R1I cap. So this is the force acting on surge Q1 due to the presence of n number of surges. Okay, if you take I is equal to 2, then you will find the first term. That means, so here Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is common in every term. So that is why I am written it in the first, Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. If you put I is equal to 2, then it will be what? If you put I is equal to 2, it will be Q2 by R12 square R12 cap. That means this is the first term. If you put I is equal to 3, you will get the second term. That means Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is common. So it will be what? Q3 by R13 square R13 cap. If you take I is equal to 4, then it is the fourth term. That means third term. Q3 by Q4 by R14 square R41 cap. And if you take the n number of term, then just put the value of I in place of, put the value of n in place of I. Okay, in this way we can take the all values. We can take the all values. So this is the force acting on surge Q1 due to the presence of n number of surges. Okay, so this is the presence of n number of surges. Let us take some numericals for multiple surge also. In textbook, there is a question, example number 7. Example number 7, and the question is, there are three surges on the vertices of an equilateral triangle, of side L. This is an equilateral triangle of side L, and there are three surges. This is your Q1, which is equal to Q, and this is your Q2, which is equal to Q, and Q3. This is your Q3, which is equal to minus Q, These are the 3 point surges. At point A, B, and C. This is point A, this is point B, and this is point C. ABC is an equilateral triangle of side L, and on the vertices of the triangle there are three surges, Q1, Q2, and Q3, and the magnitude of Q1 and Q2 and Q3 are same, but the sign is different at Q3. Okay, so we need to find force acting on each surges. What is the question? The question is, so this is the picture, this is an equilateral triangle of side L, and A, B, C are the vertices, and on the vertices there are three surges Q1, Q2 and Q3, and these are the magnitude and sign. We need to find force acting, this is the question, force acting on each surges. Force acting on each surges. This is the question. What is the force acting on each surges? So for this, let us take the force acting on surge Q1. Here is a Q1 surge at point A. At point A, Q1 is the surge. What is the force acting on that surge Q1? Okay, let us find the force acting on surge Q1 at A. ये जो A पॉइंट पर क्या सर्ज है, Q1 सर्ज है, तो Q1 सर्ज के ऊपर कितना फोर्स लगा हुआ है वो निकालना है. What is the force acting on surge Q1 due to the presence of these two surges? So you can see here Q1 is positive and Q2 is also positive. That is why this Q2 will repel Q1 in this direction with a force F12. Okay, Q1 and Q2 both are positive. This is the question from textbook, example number 1.7. okay, remember example 1.7. okay, the surge Q2 will repel Q1 in this direction with a force F12. And what is the force? Force will be how much? F12 is what? First, we just take the magnitude. F12 is, in place of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, we can take K also. K is what? K means the electrostatic force constant, or you can write it 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, or K also. You can write K also. Okay, K, Q1, Q2 by R square. Q1 is equal to what? Q1 is equal to your Q. And what is Q2? In place of Q2, I can write Q also, divided by distance. What is the distance between two surges? L is the distance between two surges, L square. Okay, the force is how much? F12 is how much? K Q square by L square. That means the surge Q2 will repel Q1 in this direction with a force F12 with a force K Q square by L square. And at the same time, this Q3 will also attract Q1 in this direction with a force F13. Q3, which is negative, Q3 is negative. This negative charge will attract Q1 in this direction with a force F12, F13. And what is the magnitude of F13? The magnitude of F13 is what? The force on charge Q1 due to Q3, which will be equal to what? In place of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, we can take K also. K Q1 Q2 by R square. Q1 is what? Q1 is equal to your Q, and Q2 we need to take only magnitude. Okay, no need to take this negative sign. Okay, Q2 is how much? Q2 is again Q divided by distance. What is the distance between two surges, Q1 and Q3? It is L, so it will be L square. So F13 is how much? K Q square by L square. Okay, these are the two forces, F12 and F13. These are the two forces acting on surge Q1, and they are acting along two directions. And what is the angle between them? It is an equilateral triangle. If this is 60 degree, it will be your 120 degree. This will be your 120 degree. And you can see F12 and F13 both have same magnitude. That means we can write F13 is equal to F1. We can write F12 is equal to F13 is equal to F1. We can take. Okay. So what is the force acting? What is the resultant force acting on that surge Q1? Okay. these and these are the two forces. These are two vectors. Force means vectors. F12 and F13. These are the two vectors, and the angle between them is how much? 120 degree. What will be the resultant force? For resultant force, we need to apply the parallelogram law. We need to apply the parallelogram law. Okay. Suppose F1 is the resultant force. Okay. F1 is the resultant of F12 and F13. Okay, and what is the magnitude of the resultant vector? The magnitude F1 will be equal to your F12 square plus F13 square plus twice of F12 F13 cos 120 degree. Okay, cos 120 degree. So you take F also, F here. F12 plus is equal to F13, both have same magnitude. In place of F12 or F13, we can take F also. So resultant, the magnitude of the resultant force in place of F12, what we can take? We can take F. In place of F13, what we can take? Another F, because both have the same magnitude. So it will be your twice of F square. What is the value of cos 120? The value of cos 120 is your minus half. Minus half. So it will be twice of F square. This 2 will go cancel. Finally, twice F square minus F square. So it will be root over F square. So finally F. Okay. Our F1 is in place of F. What we can write? K Q square by L square. Okay. The resultant force acting on surface Q1 will be how much? The resultant force acting on surface Q1 will be your KQ square by L square. KQ square by L square. Okay. Force is a vector quantity. This is only the magnitude. We need to show the direction also. If you write in vector form, F1 vector, what is the direction of this vector? KQ square by L square. Okay. Okay, the direction of force F1 is along the direction of BC. So here you can see the direction of F1 is same along the direction of BC. So you can write KQ square by L square into BC cap also. BC cap is what? BC cap is a unit vector in the direction from B to C. Okay, ये जो force का direction है, F1 force का जो direction है, वो किसके तरफ है? Along B to C. Along BC. That is why we can write in this way also. Okay. This is what? This is the magnitude of the force. This is the magnitude of the force. If you want to express in vector form, then you take this, you write this BC cap. What is this BC cap? That means this is the direction. You can see the direction of F1 is same the direction of BC. That is why we can write it like this. Okay. Similarly, the next, we need to find the force acting on its surface. Okay, this time we need to find the force acting on surface Q2. This time we will also calculate the force acting on surface Q2. So this is surface Q2. This Q1 will repel Q2 in this direction with a force F21. Okay, and at the same time Q3 will also attract Q2 in this direction with a force F23. Angle between them is 120 degree. Okay, and by using parallelogram you can calculate the resultant force and it will be the same. Okay, this will be your homework. The homework is force on surface Q2. Okay, this same ये पहले की तरह सेम ही होगा. जैसे Q1 के ऊपर हमने फोर्स निकाला है वैसे Q2 के ऊपर भी फोर्स सेम ही होगा and you can calculate it. Okay, this is the homework. Force on surface Q2. Okay, same process. So you can see this Q1 will repel Q2 in this direction with a force F21. At the same time Q3 will also attract this Q2 in this direction with a force F23. Okay, these are the two forces. The result and the angle between them is 120 degree. Okay, by using this formula you can calculate the force. Okay, and the third question is we need to also find the force acting on surface minus Q. Force acting on surface minus Q. Okay, this Q1 will attract Q3 in this direction with a force F31. Force on charge Q3 due to Q1. Okay. Next, force on charge Q3 के ऊपर कितना फोर्स है? ओके, तो Q1 will attract Q3 in this direction with a force F31. F31 means force on charge Q1 due to force on charge Q3 due to Q1. And what is the magnitude of this charge? F31 will be how much? 1 by, in place of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, we can take K also. K Q1 Q2 by R square. Q1 is how much? Q1 is equal to your Q, because we need to take only the magnitude. Q2 is how much? It will be also Q. And distance is how much? L. So it will be same. K Q square by L square. At the same time, this Q3 is attracted by the charge Q2 with a force F32. F32 means force acting on charge Q3 due to Q2. Okay, and which will be equal to your same K Q square by L square. Okay, here also F32 is equal to same F. And what is the angle between these two forces? 60 degree. Okay, using parallelogram law, you can find the resultant. You can find the resultant force, which will be equal to, okay, this is the same. We can use the same. What is the force? Force will be equal to your resultant force will be equal to your resultant force is suppose F3. Resultant force is how much? F3, which will be equal to your F31 square plus F32 square plus twice of F31 F32 cos 60 degree. Okay, in place of F31 and F32 both have the same magnitude. That is why we can take F also. F square plus F square twice F square. Cos 120 means half. Okay, this will go cancel. So it will be thrice of F square or the root over 3 into F. Okay, the resultant force is how much? Root over 3. F means what? K Q square by L square. So this is the force acting on charge Q3. Okay, if you want to write in vector form, it will be equal to F3 is equal to root over 3 K Q square by L square n cap. N cap means n cap is a unit vector in the direction bisecting A, C, B. That means this is F3 is in a direction. This direction is bisecting the angle A, C, B. Okay, here n cap is a unit vector in the direction bisecting A, C, B. So if you want to write in vector form, this will be the answer. Okay, these are the forces acting on three charges. Okay, force acting on charge Q1 is how much? It will be your K Q square by L square. And force acting on charge Q2, this is your homework. And force acting on charge Q3 is this one. If you have any doubt, you can call me also. Okay, and next class we will discuss again some numericals for multiple charges and electric field.